Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to break down what makes four of America's most successful stock traders tick. We're diving into a roundtable interview called Momentum Masters to pull out their core secrets. First, let's just talk about the track records these guys have, because they are absolutely jaw-dropping. We'll start with Mark Minervini. He managed to get a 36,000% total return in just 5 years. To put that in perspective, if you started with 100 grand, you'd have over $30 million. Just unreal. Then you've got David Ryan. So what's his claim to fame? Well, he won the U.S. Investing Championship. Not once, not twice, but 3 years in a row. His compounded return was an incredible 1,379%. And then there's a record that is just legendary in the trading world. Dan Zanger, who used to be a pool contractor, by the way, turned a little over $10,000 into $18 million. And he did it in only 18 months. That's a 164,000% return. It's a mind-bending number. And just in case you're thinking, okay, that was then, this is now, we've got Mark Ritchie II. He's kind of the newcomer of the group, and he applied these very same ideas to grow his own account by over 1,000% in just a few years. So yeah, these principles still have some serious power today. So okay, let's really get into this. I mean, these numbers sound like something out of a Hollywood movie, right? But what's so fascinating is that it wasn't like this from day one. Not at all. Their journey from complete failure to incredible fortune, well, that tells a really powerful story. So here's how we're going to break it all down. First, we'll properly meet these masters. Then, we're going to dig into their early and very costly struggles. After that, we'll distill their shared secrets to success. And finally, we'll tackle the biggest question of all. Can a regular person still get these kinds of results today? Now, what makes this analysis so cool is where it comes from. This isn't just one guru telling you their opinion. It's from a roundtable discussion between all four of these elite traders, Minervini, Ryan, Zanger, and Ritchie II, all of them answering the exact same questions. It gives us this incredible opportunity to see exactly where their winning strategies overlap. So you gotta ask, right? Were these guys just born brilliant traders? Did they have some kind of magic touch from the start? The answer is, not even close. Before they ever saw those massive returns, they made massive, soul-crushing mistakes. Take Mark Minervini, the 36,000% man. He admitted that for six long years, he was just terrible. His big turning point? It was when he finally realized the goal isn't to be right, it's to make money. He literally had to check his ego at the door. And what about the three-time champ, David Ryan? He learned his legendary discipline the hard way. He had that amazing feeling of doubling his money, and then he lost every single penny of it, and then some more. It took him 2 years to recover from that and to learn that painful lesson. And Dan Zanger's story, wow. Before that historic run, he was totally broke. He was actually in debt to his broker. He had to sell his car just to scrape together about $10,000 to get back in the game. And he swore to himself right then and there, those bastards would never get my cash again. You see, this is the real foundation of their success. It wasn't some innate genius. It was hard-won resilience. They didn't just forget their mistakes. No, they studied them, they obsessed over them, and they built these ironclad systems to make sure they'd never happen again. And that resilience, it forged the core principles they all share. Let's break those down right now. All right, so even though they all have slightly different styles, some like big companies, some like small ones, these four masters all agree on a few fundamental truths. These are the real gems, the rules they all live and die by. First thing, and this is huge, they all completely reject the idea that the game is rigged against the little guy. In fact, they argue the exact opposite is true. They believe that the small, individual trader has a massive and seriously overlooked advantage. Minervini has the perfect analogy for this. He says a big institution is like a giant cruise ship. It's slow, it takes miles to turn, and you can see its every move coming. But an individual trader, you're a speedboat. You can zip in and out, turn on a dime, and get into these smaller, undiscovered companies where the big ships can't even go. So what are these speedboats looking for out there on the water? Well, they hunt for stocks that have a very specific DNA, a kind of checklist for what could be a huge winner. As you can see, they want a stock that's already outperforming the market with earnings that are just exploding upward.
And here's a key detail. They look for early signs that the big cruise ships, the institutions, are just starting to buy in too. It's like finding a treasure map.
But their most important secret, the one that is absolutely non-negotiable for all of them, is obsessive risk management. It's their prime directive. And it boils down to 3 simple rules. 1, know exactly how much you're willing to lose before you ever buy a single share. 2, keep your losses tiny. Cut them immediately without emotion. This is the hardest part for most people, admitting you're wrong, but it is the absolute key to survival. And 3, and this is a bit controversial, forget what you've heard about diversification. They believe it just dilutes your returns. Instead, they concentrate their money in just a handful of their absolute best ideas. And that brings us to the final and probably the most important question of all. After hearing all this, you're probably wondering, okay, that sounds great, but are those kinds of returns even possible anymore? Well, luckily, the Roundtable interview tackled that exact question.
So what was their unified verdict? After everything they've seen, all the booms and busts, do they believe that you, an individual, can still achieve this kind of phenomenal success in today's market?
Their answer was a resounding, unanimous yes. In fact, they believe that with today's super low commissions and incredible access to information, it's one of the best times in history to be an individual trader. Their collective message is crystal clear. The opportunity isn't gone. It's right there, waiting for anyone with the discipline and the resilience to go out and seize it.